I have a hard time understanding why some people get upset or mad with the person being betrayed for speaking on their betrayal than they do about the actual betrayal itself or the person who did the betraying. And I just been noticing this a lot online. I'm pretty sure it's been happening before just the last few months, but I'm just now taking notice of it over the last few months. And just to give a few examples, and I think I might have kind of mentioned this here before while I was watching a clip on Instagram of this dating reality show. I think it was called Love is Blind, something in that genre. And it was a reunion show. And the lady was talking about, how she was asked a question and she answered honestly. But the first time she answered with a lot of grace and couth, like real calm, easy, stand copacetic. And she was telling them that the relationship ended. She thought it was going hot and heavy. She thought it was real locked in, I guess she thought it was leading to marriage. They was really building something. And so then the guy starts telling his side of the story. But I guess that when he started telling his side, he wanted to leave a whole lot of things out. And she really didn't include some of these things when she was first answering either, because I guess she was giving him the opportunity to be honest about what they both know happened between the two of them. And I'm guessing he didn't, because after he started answering, his answer was very dismissive kind of in a way. And so I guess that just triggered her and she started telling it all. And he could not deny it. He didn't deny the stuff she was saying. He was just trying to say that he found out 2 days before Christmas or the day of Christmas, something like that. The timing was wild. That he found out that she just wasn't the one because of, I think he said religious reasons. I don't know. It was ridiculous. But anyway, the part that got me was, some of the women in the comments, not men. Well, some men were saying something, but not to the degree that women were. And I was very surprised by that. They were pretty much saying that he was right about her because she was speaking the truth of what happened. He didn't deny it, so it had to be the truth. Most people who are getting lied on will defend themselves in some type of way. He wasn't really doing that. So they were just saying that she should have been quiet, shouldn't said nothing. And what got me to thinking about that situation again, because I seen it sometime last month, but what got me to thinking about that situation again is tonight online. And I'm gonna have to allocate a small amount of time on social media, because I be seeing some wild stuff that just be making me want to write out and talk whole thesis and stuff. But anyway, I seen a girl say that it's embarrassing for a woman to process any hurt or be vulnerable in any way when it comes to a relationship, and that she should just suffer internally like the rest of everybody else do. And I just feel like that is ridiculous advice. I feel like, I'm not saying whether you suffer in silence or whether you decide to speak your truth publicly. I'm not saying that either way is right or wrong. I'm saying people should do what works for them, and they should be able to do that without having somebody think that their way is morally superior to the way that the other person decides to do theirs. And also, shame people for how they process what they go through. Now me, there's some things that I have been quiet about. I had somebody get online and tell all kind of lies about me. They went live on Facebook to tell these lies, baby. They just had to do it. They were saying that I was messing with somebody's fiance. This was about 5 or 6 years ago. I was messing with somebody's fiance. I was messing with somebody's husband, and I seem poised, I seem graceful, I seem like a good woman, but I everybody can have a go. And I was just like, And people was like, why you ain't saying nothing? Why you ain't defending yourself? And I didn't, because I knew that is exactly what they wanted me to do. They wanted me, and you could feel the anger. Like, you could feel the anger. And that was just not something that I wanted to be engulfed in. I would not allow myself to be engulfed in that anger. I knew that person had to work whatever it is that they had. And the issue wasn't even really with me. It was with themselves, but they wanted to make it with me, because it was just, some people have an easier time making somebody else the target of their anger, because they can't sit with the anger within themselves and deal with it like they need to, which is why I process how I need to process, regardless of what anybody think about it, because I would not let myself become that engulfed with anger to the point that I would need to lie on anybody about anything. If I say something happened, it happened. And it's not because I'm not sitting with myself or dealing with what's going on internally. So anyway, and they was like, why you won't say nothing? I was like, people who know my character know that ain't true. And people who want to believe that about my character, they know it ain't true either. But they probably feel the same way about me that this person do. So it's easier to believe that. And I didn't say nothing. And sure enough, it died down. Sure enough, the people who knew me, who didn't need a reason to think nothing negative about me, knew it was all lies. Like, and that was the last time I had any dealing with that person, like, period. Like, they've done things like that to me before, and they would apologize, and I would forgive them, and I would try to rebuild a connection with them. But after that was the last straw. And by that time, I learned that they were comfortable with continuing to disrespect me like that, because they were able to come back and apologize, and I would just forgive them. So, and they've tried to apologize to me a while after that happened, like usual. And I was like, nah, I ain't going for it. We done been down this road too many times. When somebody show you who they are, believe them. And that's exactly what I did this time around. And I'm so glad I did, because now people look at me as like this person who's like this big peaceful guru person. I'm not. Like, either that or they think I'm detached. But it's not that. It's just I'm not going to let somebody else pull me into their storm when they're angry. I'm not going to engage in that type of foolishness, especially when somebody is lying on me. I'm just not. And that knowing what and what not to deal with is part of how I keep the peace that people just think I have so much of. And I do, for the most part, I do have peace. But that's one, you just have to trust yourself, believe what you see, and cut it off. But anyway, so yeah, that's when I seen, I was like, I am not, there are some things I won't engage in, but some things, when I have to speak my piece on it, I absolutely will, especially if it's in a situation where I've been deceived, and then that's how people are complicit in other people continuing to mistreat other folks as well. Like, if you have the opportunity to advise somebody, or at least warn somebody of, something about somebody who's like being deceitful, I think you should. And a lot of people don't, because they feel like it'll be some retaliation against the person that you are exposing. But I feel like the person who's being exposed, if you don't want people to think negatively about you, then you shouldn't do things that are harmful to people. You shouldn't lie. You shouldn't be deceitful. You shouldn't betray people. You shouldn't do all those things. So if you don't want to be exposed, just don't do it. And nobody will have nothing bad to say about you. Nobody would be able to expose you for anything negatively that you don't want people to perceive about you. And I feel like when people don't speak up, they're being complicit, and it's like, I think of how this guy on YouTube, I just imagine if he wouldn't have ever share his story about dealing with a narcissist, like how many people he wouldn't help get free from narcissistic situations. The story that people are encouraging you to hide and be ashamed of and not speak about publicly is the story that is going to help a whole bunch of other people. Weigh the cost. Be loyal to somebody who doesn't deserve that loyalty by not exposing them when they deserve to be exposed, or share your life lessons so other people can learn from them and move and navigate similar situations that they might be in, and you can save them years of harm or pain or trauma. And I don't mean to sound preachy right now, but it's just something I'm passionate about. I just don't believe that people should shame folks from telling their story if they have to, or shame people from processing how they process. Now, I do feel like there are some structured ways to do it, but you don't want to just suffer internally. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, and a lot of people that I know who choose to go the route of suffering internally, they usually have a lot of ailments and sicknesses that I believe come from keeping that stuff in and pinning it up. Like, no, do not suffer in silence and internally. And I will not. I don't care how what I got to do to not keep it pinned up or suffer in silence, but I'm not doing it. And I believe that's why I don't get sick a lot. I believe that if I do get sick, I don't keep it for as long as people, like the seasonal sicknesses that come around people. I believe that's why I don't keep them as long as other people do. And I believe that's also why people always mistake me for being 10 to 15 years younger than what I actually am, because I don't believe in holding anything that's going to weigh me down, anything that's going to eat me up inside. No, nobody will ever be able to shame me into being quiet about something that I feel like I need to speak on. No one. And if I am not speaking on a situation, trust me, it's because I don't think I need to. I don't want to, for whatever reasons. But if I do, and if I feel I need to, I absolutely will. Because it's just not healthy. I don't think it's healthy. So yeah, that's my little spiel for today. Because I don't think it's right for people to police what other people do with their pain, what other people do with their stories. If you feel like you don't want to listen to it, then that's also your choice. But shaming people, policing people, acting like you're morally superior to people because of how you process your pain, like, I just feel like that shouldn't have to be the path for everybody. Like, we don't all hold things the same, and we shouldn't have to. I feel like everybody should do what works for them. But yeah. And then, so the other part I wanted to touch on. Well, you know what? No. I was going to talk about how I feel like men need to not suffer in silence as well. Even though this can be applied to men too, but I want to specifically talk about that from a different angle. So I guess I'll say that for tomorrow. Next video. So if you're new here, my name is Latrice. Here's what I think out loud, reflect honestly, name patterns that keep us stuck. If anything here resonates with you, feel free to take what you need. If it doesn't, please feel free to leave it. Also, if you feel like we're aligned, hit the subscribe button, the like button, the hype button, and share your comments below. I would like to hear your perspective on this. What do you think? And I'll be back tomorrow.